there. That's easy. What else is there next?
Triceps.
Okay, so we don't have any.
Long head, medial head.
All these we didn't do. Okay, so deltoid, relative. I was wondering if we were covering these. Okay, triceps. Here is our triceps muscle, and the triceps gets a little tricky because we have these various different heads through here. So, we have, how are they listed on here?
Long head, medial head, lateral.
Okay. Long and lateral. So those get a little confusing because you'll see on the front it's a little bit different. Lateral is exactly what it sounds like, right? It's on the outer portion. So if you're looking at this, it's like, oh, which way is which? Lateral head. Versus the long head, if you look at this long head, it goes all the way up. It's really long to come up, okay? The medial head sits underneath all this. So it's lateral, long. The medial head is a little bit tricky. It's this guy right through here. Here's your medial head. It mainly sits underneath a lot of this. You can only see a portion of it. If we took all of this off, you would see it come all the way up through here. So it sits underneath it. You'll see something similar on the quadriceps too. So lateral, long, medial. Okay? And then we just go to the biceps, right?
Yep, biceps brachii, long
Okay,
head. and
now on the biceps brachii, right? It's in the name. So how many heads are there?
Two.
2 heads. And anytime you hear longest, it's talking about the tendon. So the biceps brachii long head has a longer tendon. If you look at this, it's like, oh, this one looks longer than this. It's not. Here's the biceps brachii short head. The short head comes up to the coracoid process here. The long head, it looks like it's shorter, but it has a long tendon. The long tendon comes all the way up into the glenoid cavity. That's where it gets its name. So when you're looking at this, the long head looks shorter. Yeah. All about the tendons, okay? So short head, long head. The short head comes up to this coracoid process, and then you also have another muscle that attaches the same thing. So this is your coracobrachialis muscle. Coracobrachialis. Anytime you hear brachial or brachial pulse, brachii, that brachii means the humerus. It's the upper arm, brachii. So biceps brachii, coracobrachialis, and then underneath all this, you'll have your brachialis muscle. The brachialis muscle is this big muscle, and it sits underneath the biceps muscle. So when people are doing bicep curls and working out they're working their biceps and their brachialis. Really, the brachialis is even a stronger muscle. The brachialis is awesome, right? Oh, you guys want to do a trick? Everybody flex. Okay, feel your muscle. Ready? Here we go. Oh, there it goes. It disappeared. Right? It's biceps here is dependent on your wrist position. When you do this, you can't flex the biceps very well because the biceps not only flexes the elbow, but it also supinates the hand. Where when I'm doing this flexion, that's all brachialis. That's why I say the brachialis is really good because it doesn't matter where your wrist is, it's engaged when we do elbow flexion. Side note, sorry. Biceps brachii, long head, biceps brachialis, short head, brachialis through here. Triceps.
Coracobrachialis.
And then coracobrachialis right here. Okay? All right, now it's the forearms. Do we do the anterior or posterior?
Brachioradialis.
And then through here. Okay, so I want you guys to look on your list here. The very first one, it's going to say brachioradialis. Number those 1 through 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just want you to number those real quick. Trust me, it'll help. So, brachialis is number 1, and then we'll go across. Because when you're looking at this, I'm just going to go through this real quick. Look real quick, it'll go. We go down at this angle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just right down there, and that's those 6 in that order.
Can you do that again?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Again. I didn't see that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Just trying to get it on film.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just kind of go down in this order.
Kind of.
Okay, so the very first thing I always look for is if I'm going like this big muscle through here, that is my brachioradialis muscle. So if I'm here, brachioradialis muscle. If I'm here, brachioradialis muscle. So here's my brachioradialis muscle, right? Now, on these, you're gonna see, this is wrist extension, this is wrist flexion. You're gonna see wrist extension going to the carpi. When we're doing wrist extension, a muscle is attaching right by the carpal bones on the radius side. So you're going to see an extensor carpi radialis. You're going to see extensor carpi ulnaris. You'll see a flexor carpi radialis and a flexor carpi ulnaris. Those are like my four corners. 2 on the front, 2 on the back. 2 that do flexion, 2 that do, or you're going to see a couple that do extension. Okay, so here's where it gets tricky. On this, our extensor carpi radialis, there's a longus and a brevis. What do longus have? Longus have long tendon. Look at this long tendon. It's here, and then it starts turning into this really long tendon. Underneath that, that is our extensor carpi radialis, extensor carpi radialis brevis. I know, names, right? Extensor carpi on the radialis side. One has a long tendon, one doesn't. One's longus, one's brevis. So brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, and then look at this. Here, it's going to all of these extensor digitorum. Yep. Yep, extensor digitorum. Now, it extends all of these, if you look, extending these, but except the little finger here. That's this guy, extensor digiti minimi. So extensor digitorum does most of the digits, except for your little digit here, extensi digitorum, or extensi digiti minimi. Minimi. Right? And then that leaves one more, extensor carpi ulnaris. So right next to it, extensor carpi ulnaris. Good? All right, now, look at this little guy right here. I have a really good one. This is called the anatomical snuff box. It gets its name from snuffing cocaine.
Oh.
Anatomical. So I was really, I was very popular in college, right? Look at that box right there, right? So this is your anatomical snuff box. That's actually what it's called. And the anatomical snuff box is made up of the pollex muscles. So when we get in through here, you're gonna see pollex.
It's not on there.
What? We don't have the pollex muscles anymore?
Yes.
Oh, what? Yeah, we do. Down here. It's way down. So you're going to have your abductor pollicus longus, extensor pollicus longus, and extensor pollicus brevis. Okay? Now, the extensor pollicus longus, it's this long tendon. You see this long tendon through here? We don't even see the muscle. The muscle is way underneath here. So this right here is my extensor pollicus longus. It has a long tendon, and it comes underneath here. The other two, these guys, are my extensor pollicus brevis and my abductor pollicus longus. Whew, I know, names right there. Okay, so remember extensor, they're extensing, right? And it's long tendon. The extensor pollicus brevis is the next one over, and it's a small little muscle here. It's this guy right here, right there. Extensor pollicus brevis, and now we have your abductor pollicus longus right next to the extensor pollicus brevis. Good? Flip it over. All right, now on here, if I take my fingers and do this, right, I'm going to teach you something that says pass, fail, pass, fail. PFPF. Pass, fail, pass, fail. And if you look on here, right under supinator, you'll have your pronator teres. PFPF. Pronator teres is the first one. Pronator teres. And then, remember what I said, flexor carpi. Flexor carpi, what side is it pointing to?
Radial.
Radialis. This one points to my palm, palmaris longus. Flexor carpi ulnaris. Pass, fail, pass, fail. P. Pronator teres. F. Flexor. Oh, we know it's F's are the flexors, and the only big flexors on here are the ones on the carpi. So flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris. Now look right here, I do the same thing. pronator teres. F, flexor carpi radialis. P, palmaris longus. It's pointing to the palm. Look how long the tendon is. F, flexor carpi ulnaris. Underneath this, these are all pretty long tendons. Underneath this, you'll see this other muscle through here. All of this is the same muscle, and this is my Mary Poppins muscle. What was it?
Superficiality.
Yes, exactly. Flexor digitorum superficialis. Superficial, how is it? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. All right. Flexor digitorum superficialis is all of this underneath it. Underneath the flexor digitorum superficialis is the flexor flexor digitorum profundum or profundus.
There you go.
It's right underneath it.
Define it. Yeah.
Thenar muscle, hypothenar muscle, or thenar muscle mass, hypothenar muscle mass. Now, that leaves, I think, one. If this is our, come on. Pass fail, P. What is it? Pronator teres. Pronator teres does this. Supinator does this. The supinator muscle is underneath the brachioradialis muscle. It's this guy right in through here. So at my elbow joint, one goes this way, one goes this way. When this supinator contracts, it turns my radius this way, so it's supinating. When the pronator teres